On this side with my friends, SDG&E. How you doing?
Hello, sir. How are you? Good to see you.
All right, everybody in position? Very good. You all ready? Everyone set? Very good. All right. Well, good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. With me this afternoon are Eric Dargan, our city's Chief Operating Officer, Chris Heiser, the Executive Director of our city's Office of Emergency Services, Assistant Police Chief Sandy Albrechtson, Assistant Fire Rescue Chief Dave Gerboth, Lifeguard Chief James Gartland, Caroline Wynn, the CEO of San Diego Gas and Electric. We also have our Deputy Chief Operating Officer, Chris McFadden, our Transportation Director, Bethany Bezak, and our Stormwater Director, Todd Snyder. We're here to share with the public the City of San Diego's preparations for the hurricane that's expected to arrive in our region and our readiness to respond to any of the impacts caused by the storm. We have been in direct communication with our partners at FEMA, the Governor's Office of Emergency Services, and the County of San Diego to ensure a coordinated and effective response as needs arise. While we don't know the intensity of the storm and will be when it reaches us, we are nonetheless prepared. And while I know this storm in particular is bringing about a much concern and uncertainty, I want to reassure San Diegans that their city is prepared to respond swiftly and effectively to the impacts that this storm may bring and ensure the safety of all San Diegans. Over the last several days, city crews have been preparing for the storm, clearing out storm drains and inlets that have a history of debris buildup in order to prevent flooding. Crews have also been sweeping streets to reduce trash and pollutants that could end up blocking storm drains. We'll be monitoring 15 pump stations and more than 46,000 storm drains citywide for any issues that we can address them quickly before they become of a significant problem. The Stormwater Department is also placing no parking signs in low-lying and flood risk areas, especially at crossings along the San Diego River. And with regard to our unsheltered population, I'd like to give you a quick update there. The city's Homelessness Strategies and Solutions Department has been working to ensure that our shelter system is prepared for our homeless population, make sure that they have the resources they need to stay safe. The San Diego Housing Commission is activating our inclement weather shelters. The city's outreach teams, in partnership with the San Diego River Park Foundation, park rangers, and Caltrans, are working in the areas along the San Diego River where there may be flooding to warn individuals that reside there of the risk and to encourage them to accept shelter beds currently in our homeless shelter system. The 157 people who currently are residing at the 20th and B Safe Sleeping Site will be temporarily relocated to Golden Hall. As many of you may remember, we recently moved the families that were previously living in Golden Hall to a new shelter in Barrio Logan just a few days ago. So that space is now available and can accommodate those folks at 20th and B during this time of need. Now, many San Diegans have asked what they can do during this time to prepare. Number one, make sure that water has a place to go. Take the time right now to start sweeping and picking up trash, leaves, grass clippings, and other debris that collect in storm drains in your neighborhood and clear the rain gutters on your home. Number two, place sandbags on your property. The city has sandbags available at 10 recreation centers across our city. There's one in every city council district. A list of all those pickup locations can be found on the city's website, which is sandiego.gov. Number three, prepare to shelter in place during the storm. Make sure that your phone and other devices are fully charged in case the power goes out, and make sure the batteries on your flashlight are working. Should Hurricane Hilary hit our city directly, please prioritize your safety. Please stay indoors and avoid any unnecessary travel, particularly on Sunday night and Monday morning. If you must travel, do not drive, walk, or ride through flooded waters. Remember that what can look like a large puddle can in fact be quite deep and extremely dangerous. We see this in every rain event, and that unfortunately diverts the resources of our city's first responders to have to deal with those instances. It'd be far preferable for folks to not try and use those well understood and known places where flooding happens, and instead take an alternate route, or again, preferably stay home. Multiple crews from the city's storm patrol will be actively monitoring areas throughout our city and responding to incidences such as temporary flooding in downed trees or branches. As always, if there is a life-threatening emergency, please call 911. I want San Diegans to rest assured that city crews and first responders are ready to respond to the impacts and emergencies. And we appreciate the part that you will play in making sure that all of us can stay safe and get through this next couple of days. Now, with that, I'd like to hand it over to our Executive Director of our Office of Emergency Services, Chris Heiser. He'll be followed by Caroline Nguyen from SDG&E. Chief Heiser.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The mayor did an exceptional job of articulating what's going to happen and what the impact's going to be. I just want to reinforce a couple of things. One is these disasters have two partnerships. One partnership is behind me. It's the city infrastructure that's prepared to respond to the emergency. The other part is who I'm looking at in the cameras. It's the public. It's not going to work unless you take it seriously and follow the direction, not become part of the problem. And the hardest thing we see is a willingness to adjust your schedule based on this emergency. So the easiest way to do it is if you think this is going to happen, be an inconvenience, stop before you go there. Here's the other part. Right now, my office, the Office of Emergency Services, activated the city's Emergency Operations Center in conjunction with San Diego County's Emergency Operations Center. This is a regional impact. And the one thing you need to understand is we're the smallest part of that impact, but we're part of a system that allows us to reach up all the way, as the mayor mentioned, through the county, through the state to FEMA for support. So it's not just what the city's doing, it's the entire system being poised to provide the support that the community needs. Our primary function in the EOC right now is to help coordinate activities, provide a common operating picture to the staff so that good decisions can be made based on the best information. So this is real. I appreciate the media. I've said that in the interviews I've had before. It's the recognition that this is not like the other storms we've experienced. It's a huge footprint. It goes all the way to the desert out into the ocean. They're projecting 12 inches of rain in the mountains over a short period of time. Our city is downstream. It's not if. You are going to see flooding. The estimated winds are in excess of 50 miles an hour. Anticipate the possibility of power outages. This is a real storm that we have not seen before. So again, take action, pay attention, monitor, listen to the news, maintain your situational awareness so you can respond to this. I'd like to introduce Carolyn Nguyen, from
okay.
SDG&E.
Thank you, Chris. I want to thank Mary Gloria and thank you for all the leaders who stand up here with me today. And I think about the partnership on emergency response and emergency preparedness. When I think about this region-wide collaboration on emergency preparedness and protecting our communities from these extreme weather events, more and more of these extreme events are occurring. And at SDG&E, we have an awesome meteorology team, and we have been carefully monitoring these events. In fact, we've been monitoring this tropical storm, which is now turned into a hurricane, over the past 10 days. And we have been preparing the organization for this event. In fact, we have been patrolling our transmission, our distribution, our substations over the past 10 days in preparation for this. Our first concern is the safety of our employees, the safety of our customers, and the safety of our communities that we serve. And we are preparing for the worst. We have zero regrets for preparation. I think Chris said it well. We have undertaken extensive preparations for this event to make sure that we have crews, that we have call center representatives, that we have operators and equipment ready to respond to the storm. Heavy rainfall, flash flooding, and high winds have the potential to cause significant number of unplanned and prolonged power outages to our grid. And I just want to be transparent. And I want to let our customers know that we are bracing for the potential for widespread and unplanned outages. But I also want our customers to know that the good news is over 60% of our system is underground. That is very helpful in these situations. However, for the overhead systems, if we do have these high winds that are hitting, especially along the coast, if you're seeing 50-mile-an-hour winds along the coast, there is that potential for these significant winds. So I want to warn customers that there's a potential for down power lines. If you see down power lines, You need to ensure that you're not touching it. Always assume that there's electricity still flowing through those. Call 911 immediately if you see down power lines. Do not touch it. I would encourage all customers to make sure you're securing your outdoor equipment. If you have umbrellas, if you have tarps, anything that is unsecured, please make sure of that. And some of this flash flooding could damage some of our underground pipelines. So if you smell gas, please call 911. And again, if we do have power outages, we're just urging all of our customers to be prepared. Be prepared for prolonged power outages. Make sure that you have emergency kits and supplies for those customers that depend on some of these electric devices for their own health and safety. It's critically important that you have arrangements in case the power is out. You know, the brunt of the storm is expected to hit on Sunday and into Monday. So we are all prepared. As I said, we have crews and our operators and our call center ready. But please know that we can't fly our helicopters in high wind conditions to assess damage. We can't even have our trucks with the buckets in the air if they're high winds or if they're flooded areas. So we're used to being really quick to be on scene, but there could be some prolonged outages. So I just want to make sure that our customers are prepared. We're sending out communications, emails, texts, social media to all our customers. I think Chris said it well, but just make sure if you have the opportunity, stay home, be safe. It's all hands on deck at SDG&E. If you do have a power outage, I would really recommend you download the SDG&E app. It will have all the information of the outages. We will do our best to keep that up to date. But again, this could be widespread, but we are preparing for the worst. Thank you.
Caroline, thank you. We appreciate partnership with SDG&E. We've been in regular communication. As she mentioned, they have some of the best meteorology and sort of forecasting opportunities. The city is working collaboratively to make sure that we can anticipate what's coming and adjust our response accordingly. I want San Diegans to look at the team of folks behind me. We have incredible public servants who have been working for multiple days now to make sure that our city is prepared. They will continue to work over the next few days, again, to make sure that we're prepared. My ask of San Diegans is to prepare yourselves. Be a part of the solution. Help your fellow neighbors by doing some of the things that have been mentioned already. Secure some of those loose materials that could be outside in your yard. The fact that those things could fly and create other kinds of challenges that our first responders or paramedics or SDG&E may need to respond to, let's just take that out of the equation. Secure that stuff now. Make sure that that's not an issue. If you see a flooded zone, don't go into it. Please stay out of it. We see it all the time. It's not necessary. This is not the time to do that. It would divert critical resources that may be needed elsewhere in the city to respond to those kinds of instances. Don't do it. Stay out of those flooded zones. We all know where they're at. Just plan for that now. And then as Chief Heiser said, I think the best thing I can tell you, take Sunday night off, right? Stay home, stay in your house, be with your loved ones, make sure everything is prepared. It'll be a very significant storm event late Sunday through early Monday. We know that, we see that coming now, so let's prepare. Bad news is there's a hurricane coming in our direction. The good news is we have time to prepare, and I'm asking San Diegans to use the time between now and Sunday night to get prepared. That's what your mayor will be doing at his home tomorrow and on Sunday. I ask all of you to join me in making sure you take appropriate precautions to make sure we're prepared. Our hope, of course, is that the worst of this will pass us by, but if not, we'll be prepared. And again, I want to reassure San Diegans that we will be ready. Our city team will be ready to make sure that you're safe and that we recover quickly. With that, I'm happy to take any questions that folks may have. The team of pros behind me are also prepared to take any questions you may have.
Maybe a question for OES.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned, preparing their homes, securing those items for folks who haven't dealt with a hurricane. How can they do that? What can they purchase? Any DIY measures to do at home? Things like that.
One of the things I have, for lack of a better term, pushed out is this is not the first time San Diego's experienced heavy rains. So the first thing I suggest everybody does is think back to the winter and just magnify that. And so take a look around. If it can get blown around, it is. And the biggest mistake everyone makes is you underestimate. And so we're really encouraging to say it's better to go too far than not far enough. It's the same approach we're all taking. We're not exactly sure what the total impact will be, but everyone here is taking the approach that it's going to be the worst we've seen because it's easier to back out of it. So it's the same direction we're trying to give the public is take that umbrella that you've got that you've been sitting under because it's 80 degrees outside and take the umbrella down. If you don't, it's going to get launched. It's going to hit something. It's going to cause problems. Go to the store, shop now so that you're not worried about it on Saturday or Sunday, or more importantly, Monday. Make decisions based on the fact that this is going to have a significant impact on the routes of transportation. We know there's going to be accidents on the freeway. We can't slow down. It's Southern California. So just anticipate. Base your plans on the fact that this is a real event. They're using the term hurricane. So think about the devastation you've seen and recognize that that potential exists for us, and take your actions based on that. So walk around the outside of the house and take a look. What can get blown up and moved? Do I have the batteries? It's the thing we keep pushing out, but we have a unique opportunity now to say that be prepared. We're telling you, this isn't an if, it's a when, and the when is this weekend. So just take it seriously. Everybody behind me is. The city's staffing up significant numbers. They're already out there checking the pumps, checking the drains, everything to put the city and the citizens in the best position to manage this event, to survive it. These are, I try not to exaggerate, these are potentially life-threatening events. If we do it right, the outcome's positive, but we really have to take it seriously.
Say we do see some significant prolonged power outage events, is there any type of alert system for folks to be made aware of if there's any type of maybe excessive flooding, or if there's, if a flood advisory turns into a flood watch, we do potentially see some type of flooding in those areas?
So one of the things that on OES's webpage, sponsored by the city, is we have a hazard section you can go to. So if you go there and click on it, it's basically, we took all the web pages that you search for when you're trying to find information and linked them to one site. So if you want, you can go down there and see SDG&E's power outage webpage. You scroll down, click on it, comes up. You can see the track of the storm. We tried to look at what's the questions the public has. It's the same question I ask in the EOC. I just got tired of going through to Google every time trying to find it. We consolidated it. So including, we have all the social media sites for the city. So I encourage you to look at those, because that's where we're pumping out the most current information. Is San Diego Fire has one, San Diego City, San Diego County. So they're putting out accurate and real-time information. You have an opportunity to go to Alert San Diego and register your smartphone, so you'll get those announcements directly from the city or from the county. And we are part of the county. This is an impact. So I had a discussion with the director of OES today to make sure that they're doing the same thing we are throughout the county and that we're closely synchronized. There's a conference call right now among all the emergency managers in San Diego County to make sure that we all understand this is what we're hearing. What is your city doing? Do you need additional support? So similar to any major event, we're part of the big community and we're there to support it, and they'll support us.
Mayor Gloria, I know you had mentioned that folks at the 20B site will be relocated to Golden Hall, encouraging for inclement weather shelter beds, trying to use every shelter bed. What's the plan if, say, all shelter beds are occupied and there's still not enough place for folks on the street to go? What's the contingency for the individuals who may still be out on the streets and there's no place to put them?
Sadly, we haven't experienced that. There's always beds available. So this is why we're putting the call out. There's a bed available, come on in. I appreciate you listing the responses that we're doing. A reminder, the city in the last couple of years has dramatically expanded our shelter capacity, building new shelters all across the city. And so those are the beds that are available today. As I mentioned previously, we are activating our inclement weather shelter system. So that's with the help of partners like Father Joe Villages, San Diego Rescue Mission, and other providers. So those additional beds will be made available. And then, of course, again, reopening Golden Hall, at least the second floor for that. So we are surging a capacity to be there. and we will continue to call upon our partners to make whatever is available for this population. Generally, in events of this nature, we're able to scale up relatively quickly. As Chief Heiser mentioned, we haven't had an experience with this kind of weather event before, but we'll be dynamic as possible. And what I want to tell San Diegans is that our homeless strategies team, in partnership with the Housing Commission and our nonprofit providers, are doing incredible work right now. I mean, think about what it takes to relocate a large number of folks from 20th and B to Golden Hall on basically a couple of days' notice. That is the level of attention and prioritization we're giving this, and we will continue that throughout this weather event.
What's the outreach for folks who may still be out on the different streets of San Diego to let them know that this option's coming, this storm's coming, some may not have cell phones, stuff like that?
Well, that's not often the case in my experience. Most of them do have phones, but the truth is that we have over 50 people who operate our homeless outreach every day of the week, storms or not. So those folks have been working for the last number of days to prepare this population. As I mentioned before, between our fire department, the San Diego River Foundation, our homeless strategies outreach folks, they are saturating the river beds right now to try and inform people and encourage them to certainly pull back from the watershed, but hopefully again accept shelter. That work will continue all the way through to the start of this storm. And again, the goal would be for folks to pull back, much like we see sometimes motorists that try and access the Fashion Valley Mall during a rain event, which you should not do. You can go there other days, but not when it's raining. Much like those sort of elective and voluntary interactions with the river, we want to encourage these folks to also pull back now. We know the river will rise. This is an avoidable interaction that would, again, help save critical public safety resources that we can divert to other needs that will surely come up throughout this rain event. We have a few other folks. Yeah. So, yeah.
Just kind of curious to see if you guys have identified any preemptive street closures, and then just kind of seeing, we've heard Mission Valley, Carmel Valley, and South Bay are some of the most vulnerable communities, but I'm wondering if there are any others.
I'll turn that over to Chief Heiser or even to the lifeguards or firefighters.
You want to talk preemptive?
Yeah.
Public Works control the gates in Mission Valley, so Mission Valley gates will be closed preemptively depending on the rise of the tide, and it's pretty easy to predict and we track the river levels. So as the river rises, when it gets to a certain level, we start closing off certain streets, and Public Works does that with the coordination with SDPD, SDFD, and the Lifeguard Division. It's just the gates that are in place already, and then temporary barricades will go up. And as streets get closed, that will be published and pushed out through media.
Chief Heiser, maybe Carolyn too, since SDG&E has the Weather Center. I assume you've talked to the weather people. When you step outside right now, the weather is very nice. It's sunny. It's warm. When you talk to the weather people, what kind of sense do they give you about how quickly things are going to change and when they're going to change?
So the National Weather Service, and we have a local branch here, right now does daily briefings. So today's briefing was at 2:30. There was probably 150 individuals on it, and it runs about 45 minutes. So it's a pretty thorough brief. And so that will occur daily and more frequently if necessary. And what the Weather Service consistently says is the closer it gets, the more accurate they'll be able to predict. So today's kind of summary from the 2:30 brief was you're going to have 50-mile-an-hour winds. That's at the coast. That's San Diego downtown. And it moves up actually in the mountains where you start hitting the 70s. So, and there's no quite, so that's pretty accurate. I mean, they're not thinking that's going to change substantially. They're looking at 2.5+ inches of rain in San Diego City, going up to 12 inches in the mountains. But the impact of that is a couple of those rainfalls are 3/4 of an inch of rain in an hour. That's heavy rain, short duration, covering a huge area. So when it's raining, it's not just like we're used to, these little pockets that kind of move around. It's going to be this downpour all the way from the desert, which is going to see a huge impact all the way out off the coast. Then they're talking about significant surf, storm surf. So the impact is The biggest change compared to previous storms we've seen is the size, the pure footprint that it has, and the fact that it's going to be high intensity, that we haven't really seen that impact like that before.
I would just add to what Chief Heiser said that, we continue to run models. The U.S. Air Force ran an airplane right into the eye of the hurricane today, and that's going to update some models tonight into tomorrow. I think we're going to have a lot more certainty, as Chief Heiser said, in the runs that we're doing tomorrow morning to have some certainty in terms of the track, the timing, where this hurricane is going to hit landfall, and actually what the wind conditions are going to be. So again, he's right. As the days continue on, the next 24 hours are going to be really crucial as to the direct path of this. We can guarantee that San Diego is going to be impacted significantly with this storm. It's just a matter of how impactful it will be.
Anyone else?
Mayor, will the city be providing hotel vouchers for homeless residents?
Well, we provide vouchers.
Or, excuse me,
Right.
hotel vouchers.
We provide vouchers normally. I mean, what we're trying to do is find additional capacity where we can, and that's the notion about Golden Hall. That's the inclement weather shelter system. Obviously the unsheltered population is very important to us, but we're talking about a storm event that's going to impact every San Diegan, sheltered and unsheltered. And really this message is for everybody. Take proper precautions, no matter your circumstances. Wherever you live in the city, you will be impacted. And we'd like you to consider now what you can do to limit any safety risks to you and your family. And by doing so, you will make the rest of the city safer.
This might be a question for Chief Gartland. I know you're chief of lifeguards. Words of advice for folks who may be wanting to hit the waters, considering that they know that there's probably major swells or anything like that. I know we've heard the message, but for folks who may think that it might be a good time to go surfing.
Yeah, the winds alone are not going to be conducive to a pleasurable surfing event. So we do recommend that people stay out. There's not going to be good surf. The seas they're calling for are high seas offshore. It's not going to be as large as the predicted models and the direction of the surf, as large on the inside. So it's just not going to be good. We are urging people to stay home, batten down. It is not time to go out and challenge yourself in the ocean during a hurricane.
Anyone else?
Would you be able to provide anything in Spanish?
I believe we probably have a few folks that can do that, and we'll get you somebody. Anyone else? Well, thank you for this opportunity. We appreciate you helping to put this message out to the general public. It's very important that everyone know what's coming. Again, take precautions and necessary steps to protect themselves. Message today is that the city of San Diego is taking all the steps necessary to be prepared for this incident. We've not seen anything like this in our city's history, or at least not in a very, very long time. But I can tell you this team of professionals behind me are working a lot of hours, and all of the members of their team are working to make sure that San Diego is prepared. We just ask for the partnership of the general public to step up and do their part as well. Collectively, if we do that, I believe we'll get through this successfully. In the meantime, just encourage folks to make good choices. You all know what this looks like. You know what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I think the message today is that this will impact you. There's no one that's going to be exempt from this. So look around your area, your home, your family, your friends. Maybe a good time to check on family members and friends. Make sure that those who are maybe not so blessed to have a large network know that people are looking out for them. As a pet lover myself, I'd ask you to consider them as well. Please take precautions for them. We all have a role to play. The good news, again, we have about 2 days to get ready. I'm confident. I know this city. I know this town. It's my hometown. I'm a third generation San Diegan. I know what we can do when we come together. The call today is to start taking precautions today. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Let's get through this, San Diego. I know we can do it. Thank you all very much for being here this afternoon.